I've had a lot of time to reflect the past few days and just been thinking about a lot of things. I've been thinking about how 9 years ago, maybe 9 years and 3 months ago, I was using my jeans as a pillow on the floor of the San Francisco airport and sleeping there, living there. And how much has changed in those years, and then how much has changed from just a year ago, and what will happen a year from now. A lot of times I anchor my memories in that time of my life. um, I have two books out that talk about that. One's It's About Damn Time. That's like a memoir and does like a deep dive of how I got here, how I overcame so much, and how you can too. It's like I think it's funnier than my second book. It has a lot of heart to it, but there's like resilience and there's confidence that you build when you read it. And then I have Your First Million, where I just give you the blueprint to making your first $1 million, like just straight up tell you how to do it. And I think both books are awesome, obviously, because I wrote them. But just like in the last few days, people have been reaching out to me, talking about those books and talking about just in general, how they're feeling about life. And it's given me this time to reflect. But I usually anchor my memories in that time period, even writing two books about it, because it was so, it's such a big part of my life, was this housing insecurity and food insecurity. But really, I think the last few years have been a blur. They've been such a blur. I was thinking too about the podcasts that I've had. I've had multiple podcasts that were audio only over the past few years. I had the Bootstrapped VC, where I documented building a multi-million-dollar venture capital fund after being homeless. Like, how do you do that? There are not very many people who've done that. So just documenting that, having interviews, talking about building a portfolio, talking about raising money from investors, then to deploy that money. And what you do in those, I think it lasted until the first 100 investments, which is like an incredible amount of people to invest in for any fund, especially a smaller fund. And then I had Your First Million, which was started in, I want to say it started in 2019 in the summer. And I reached 1 million downloads of that, or streams of that. And that's when I launched Your First Million, the video version that came out in Q1 of 2023, where I did all of these great interviews with people. You can still find them on this channel, by the way. Those interviews are still live. Um, and we did like a production. I have a British group that I work with who helped me co-produce that, which is really fun. And I thought that's what this channel would be. And then I got really serious about YouTube, not just the product of Your First Million, the book, and the conference, of course, and the live event. If you haven't heard about that, that was awesome. There's some videos of it on this channel. But I got serious about YouTube, and that happened November of 2023. So just about a year ago, I got super serious about YouTube. And it was right in this moment, right around this time this year, where I, I did this like 3-day binge watch of all of these like how to launch on YouTube videos. And I made a decision. I said, I'm going to take the next 6 to 8 weeks going into the new year, and I'm going to get all my ducks in a row, really prepared to launch on January 1st. And because I did that, I was able to learn so much. I had some things that didn't work, some things that worked really well, and some surprises along the way. And what I learned, the TLDR version of it is that just authentic, value-packed videos are the most successful ones of all of the ones. And they're the cheapest for me to create. They're the easiest for me to create, just go into my home office where I am right now and just press record on Zoom and just talk to you because it's like human to human. Those are the videos that perform the best so far. But also to experiment and to try different things and to shake things up a little bit. I learned all of that. But if I hadn't done that, I hadn't made that decision in November of 2023, none of this would have happened. I wouldn't have gone from like 4 or 5 thousand subscribers that I built over 4 years to I think right now, this moment, I'm at 85,000. And who knows what that number will be when you see this video. If you see it the day I publish it or weeks or months later, that's kind of the point. That's kind of the fun of YouTube. So first of all, in the comments, let me know if you're seeing this video on day one or if you're seeing it after day one. Just look at the date and say, I'm here on the day you publish this, or say, I'm here like 10 weeks later, or just let me know because I think that's pretty cool for me to know. And I look at those comments. I look at those comments every single day and I have to approve the comments. So I get to read them and I'll see that over and over again. And it'll probably remind me in tough times to keep going if I see those comments. So let me know. But if I had to make that decision, then all of this wouldn't have happened. I gained like more than 80,000 subscribers in 11 months, 10 months, and headed towards 100,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And thank you so much. And when I look at my analytics on YouTube, I see that I have, on average today, and this could change, but on average, like 6,000 people who watch like at least one video that day, every single day. And usually about half of those people are new and are returning because they liked what they saw the first time, like they liked the value that they got. That's so cool. And I'm just reflecting on so many things. YouTube is just one of them. But I want you to know that if you're thinking about starting on YouTube, it's a really, really cool idea. It's like a low risk, low stakes thing because you can do it at your own pace and you can have your own plan and you can either research on YouTube how to do it or you can learn from people how to do it. And the I think the real key to it is to give it some time. Like I just talked to someone yesterday on a one-on-one and she said, I'm giving myself 12 months with YouTube. And I thought that was so good because most people will try it for a couple of weeks or a couple of months and then they won't see any traction immediately and they'll just stop. But the thing is with YouTube, the traction happens slowly, slowly, slowly build and then explodes. And the people that you see do well are the people who are consistent. And I know that word is a little annoying, but it's true because people say it all the time, but it's true. They're consistent, but they're not just like a robot, just like, okay, I'm supposed to do it on, release a video on Monday and then it's going to be about this. It's more like they're engaged and consistent. They're engaged and consistent, like they're looking at the data week after week and they're looking at the comments and they're looking at the view count and they're saying, okay, what can I tweak and what can I experiment with to see if this other thing may resonate or if this change of the title may resonate. I found out this week that a lot of people don't know that you can change your YouTube channel. I'm sorry, you can change your YouTube title after you've published. You can change your title, you can change your thumbnail, which is that picture that, you put there to show people what it's about. You can experiment. And when you do it, as long as when you do those things, it's because you've looked at your YouTube studio, you've looked at the information, the data, and you've said, okay, I don't like this click-through rate, CTR. I'm going to see if I can get it higher. And then you test it for a few hours or days, depending on how many views you get, and then you react to that. That's really the way and the reason you would do, like change the title, not just because you think you should, because you may have a great title that is actually working. And YouTube takes some time to get to know your channel, get to know what your videos are about. It's looking at it's doing like transcripts privately. It's doing transcripts and saying, okay, these are keywords that are coming up. So every word that I'm saying right now, it's studying. And then it's going to put my video in front of people who it thinks will want to see it. And here's another thing about YouTube, and then I'll leave that topic. But what I thought was so fascinating is that I learned this over this year, is that YouTube isn't necessarily trying to get your video in front of as many people as possible. What it's doing that is even better for you and the other person in the long run is that it's trying to get the viewer the best video experience possible. And if it believes that your video or your channel will help it do that, then it will put your video in front of them. It's a nuanced difference, but I find it to be really fascinating and kind of comforting, because then it values value over volume. It values like real authenticity to whatever that person needs or wants, over just trying to monetize YouTube at all costs, because YouTube could do that. It could be trying to make you addicted to YouTube and pushing every small creator in front of everybody that doesn't make sense, and just trying to make money and get those ad clicks, especially because you get an ad prior to the video content. But the more people I talk to who work at YouTube, just personal conversations I have, it's not like this is something that I know is a fact, but the more that I like anecdotally look at this, the more I realize YouTube, and even the prompts that I get where it says, do this survey or whatever, YouTube, I believe, is truly trying to just make the experience better for the viewer. As a viewer, I feel that too, because I am often fed in my feed videos that I do want to check out if I don't already know those people. And also videos that remind me, oh my gosh, like a month ago, I checked out this person. I liked their video and I just moved on. They're bringing it back to me. That's pretty cool. So I think for the new year, for the next 12 months, having this idea of like, I'm going to give YouTube 12 months. No matter what, it's like investing in the stock market, right? Like if you look at the stock market every single day and looked at your stock, you would go crazy. If you're like, oh, I got to get it out because it's going crazy. But instead, if you you just give it time and you look at it over a year or years, the overall can have a better outcome for you. It's the same thing with investing your time and a little bit of money maybe into YouTube. And speaking of money, you could actually make money from YouTube because it has a monetization model where after you have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in a 12-month period, and anytime you reach that, it'll invite you to partner with it. I would say at this point, I make about anywhere from $5,000 to $12,000 per month on YouTube monetization, the ads that they run alone. And I could be making probably twice that much, but I don't put my ads all throughout my videos on purpose. I just try to do the intro 5-second skippable or a 30-second non-skippable, because I just want you to be able to kind of, if you're not like a paid YouTube member, I want you to be able to just listen to me and take that value. And then a lot of times you'll notice, especially if you watch a few more of my videos, you'll notice I'll tell you, hey, I have this membership, or I have the book, or I have, this event that I'm doing. Come over here and check it out. And there are enough people who convert, and I make my living from that. The 95% who don't, I'm just incredibly grateful that I have this platform to share with. Like right now, I'm just talking to you and I'm just, almost doing like what I used to do with my podcasts. And I didn't list all my podcasts, by the way. I kind of got derailed, but I've had multiple ones and they're usually audio. And I'll just talk and I'll just, riff on something that I'm thinking about. That's what I'm doing right now. And the 95% who watch this will maybe get one or two things from it, maybe an idea here or a light bulb moment there, or just a feeling of comfort and having someone to talk with, that's also something that I get feedback on. But there will be a percentage who, okay, I'm gonna watch a bunch of your videos. So helping with that monetization, I'm gonna watch lots of your videos, each one, not just a couple of minutes. I'll watch all the way through. Then there'll be people who jump in and grab my books or, you know, any of the other things that I do for a living. And I think that that's pretty remarkable. Now, you're going to have you may have like a whole different vibe. Yours may be entertainment, yours may be interview style, yours may be like documenting you building a house or helping someone with their finances, or the opportunities and the possibilities are limitless when it comes to YouTube, and they're limitless in what we can do. And I'm choosing personally, how do I describe how I feel and what I'm doing? I'm not going to be like this rah coach of like, you can do anything. And I think you can do anything, by the way, but but I'm not going to do that. I think my energy levels these days are more like reflective, contemplative, serious, but also looking for joy like I always have been, finding the joy in the small things, because those are more, they're controllable in a way that other things that are happening are not. And just trying to be like the best version of myself. I have I'm a little bit more petty than I was a few days ago. I'll have to admit to you, I'm a little bit more petty than I was a few days ago. And but it could be so much worse. My petty level could be so much worse. In the comments, if you're still with me, write the word petty level, the words petty level, PETTY level, LEVEL. Write those words if you're still with me. You can put them in quotation marks if you want, but let me know that you're seeing this part too. Yeah, so I want you to think about what these next few days and weeks could do for you for the next year. What could taking a pause, taking a breath, kind of binge watching YouTube on a very specific topic that you're interested in, and doing what I did, which is I got a notebook from the store. It costs like $1 or $2. The spiral notebooks that I have all over. I wrote down, handwritten my plan, and it helped me solidify it more. And then I knew I left room for the plan's going to change over time. The plan is going to change with data, information, experience. It's going to change with my interest level, with results. It's going to change. But if I can I call it putting something on the canvas. When you put some paint on the canvas, you're kind of pushed in the direction that you probably want to complete that painting. You're just getting started. So if I can just get a little paint on the canvas of my idea, or if you can get some paint on the canvas of your idea, put paint on the canvas if you're interested in this analogy, then it doesn't matter if it's not a Rembrandt, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect yet. What matters is you have these words. There's like idea mapping and brain mapping, where you can just write words on a page and just have phrases, words, ideas, kind of sections, just to get that out of your own mind and in front of your eyes so that you can start to move that around. And I'll take that one page spiral. The reason it's a spiral is because I'll rip that page out and put it next to the spiral notebook, and then I'll make it more organized based on the paint on the canvas. I'll make it more look like what it's supposed to look like. And then it can be this flexible thing that changes. So that could be a really good exercise for you right now, especially if you're feeling a little chaotic or a little bit unmoored, I think is the word, unanchored. If you feel like you are just not completely sure what to do next in your life, in your finances, in your work, in your career, in your business, I would suggest putting a little paint on the canvas, writing out some things, but getting some space and some space from other people and a little bit of time. I did mine in one 3-day weekend, and it changed everything, and things that I would not have imagined. It changed. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again this month because it was so worth it. And I encourage you to do that. It's lower stakes, just like starting on YouTube is lower stakes, right? You don't have to pay to be on YouTube. You can just start and you can learn and you can get better if you want. And then just mapping this out is lower stakes, right? I think just giving yourself that time, and also just thinking about your life. I mean, I'm 44 now, at the time of this filming. That's middle-aged. That's me thinking through, what do I want the rest of my life to look like? You know? And also it's okay to just think about, like, what do I want today to look like? I envy my wife. Anna is her name, and she's a creative. She's a composer. She's an actress. She's a writer. She can do sound. She's a sound like engineer and designer. She's just pretty brilliant, and she never she never knows what she's going to do on any given day. She does not have a schedule. She may have like 1 or 2 calls per week that are scheduled because they are like someone else has scheduled them and she's part of that. But like 98% of her life and her week, she wakes up that day and she lets the creativity take her somewhere. And she's not a starving artist. She has monetized her talents because she is so talented, but she's also able to just kind of, let the muse take her. And I try to do the same. I unfortunately have so many things that are booked for me that I don't know if I can quite do that, but I've been trying to do it on the weekends. And maybe what I'll do is figure out a way to do that more so than not. Everybody's going to have their own vibe and their own kind of circumstances that dictate how they're going to go through life. You got to find what's right for you. You got to find what is fulfilling to you, what makes sense to you. I know that a lot of people ask me, like, how do you have that mindset shift to believe that you can make more money and believe that you can be successful, if that's what your definition of success is, because it's not everyone's. How do you even get yourself out of this indoctrination of thinking that you need to have a 9 to 5, you need to have everything structured, you need to have it all figured out, especially if you're in your 30s and your 40s, your 50s, and so on. I can tell you that you don't have to have it all figured out, because you just won't. Like, I don't know one human who has it all figured out. I think that alone may help you, because if you're beating yourself up and you're worried and concerned that you don't have it all figured out, I want you to point to somebody that you know who you feel does. And if you point to anybody, if you can at all, that's a feat. Like, first of all, you probably will say, I can't think of anybody. That's interesting. But if you can, you're probably wrong in this case. Because if you just double click into their lives and zoom in into their lives, I bet you there's something afoot. I bet you there's something that you would not want to trade places with them. I say that, that phrase, the grass is greener on the other side, meaning like it always feels like it's better over there. Someone else's life is better. I say that the grass is greener on the other side because there's so much manure over there, right? There's some BS over there. And that's because we're human and we're flawed. And it's just, no matter what your belief system is, we know we're flawed. And if you are comparing yourself to someone else, and that is the reason you are beating yourself up or not feeling fulfilled, then I need you to stop that right now. I need you to work on stopping that right now because they do not have it figured out. I don't care how much money they have in the bank. I don't care how much money they have figured out how to make on a recurring basis. I don't care how beautiful they are, how wonderful their home is, how wonderful their spouse is. Something in their life is something you would not trade places with for all the money in the world. And I want you to think that every time you start to have doubt creep in that is based on someone else, because that is a fool's errand. That is something that is never going to be beneficial to you. It's never going to work out. So instead, I want you to think about you. I want you to think about you at the end of your life. I'm going to say mine will be 88 because I'm midlife. Who knows? Maybe by then it'll be much longer. Maybe it'll be shorter. I'm having a great time. So I'm so grateful for every day. But I want you to look at what the end of your life will be when you're there and you're just sort of looking at what you've done. What are you already proud of up to this moment? What are you already proud of? And it doesn't have to be what someone else would be proud of in your place. It's what are you proud of? Whatever that answer is that came to mind, do more of that. Do more of that so that you can have that moment towards the end of your life where you have no regrets or fewer regrets than you would have if not. That's what I'm going to do. And that's how I live life. That's what I remind myself of when I reflect now and in the future. I'll be going back to that North Star for myself. Yeah, we don't always have it figured out. We don't, but we're working on it. What we can do, the optimistic view here is what we can do is that every day we can work on what we can control and we can find joy. We can find joy. Every time you laugh, like the next time you laugh, if you can try to do this, is a very, very like self-reflective thing. But if you can think, oh, I just laughed, tell yourself why you laughed. Whatever that is, find more of that. Put more of that in your life. If it's a television show, watch that show more often. Remind yourself to watch it. If it's a person who's around you, have more of them in your life. Put them in your life more often. If it's something that you had to go to put yourself in a situation, do more of that. If it's yourself, if it's your own observation of something, because you have a great sense of humor, go to that mode more often. You know, before you go to doom and gloom, go to that mode more often. Like I remember when I was, like to bring it back to what we started, when I was sleeping on the floor of the airport, I would observe people and I would make myself laugh because I needed to find joy. I've always been about that. And that's humor. The humor I had with myself, the humor I had with people I was texting who may or may not have known what I was going through. That humor absolutely saved my life multiple times. So sometimes it's just an observing human behavior, and you're just like the absurdity of human behavior is like, oh my God. You know, having those inside jokes with yourself and with other people. Sometimes that's just enough. That's just enough. So I'll leave it at that. I hope I gave you some things to think about. Let me know in the comments if you'd like for me to do more videos like this, or if you wouldn't, you know, you can tell me. I'm looking at every single comment. Let me know if you made it this far. I take your opinion very, very highly. So let me know what you think there, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.